first game between Moscow5 and Mousesports in the loading screen. As ever, I'm Metis, and I'm joined by the lovely Pulse. How are you doing, Pulse? And do you think we're going to see any early Team 1 fights kicking off?
I'm doing great, thank you. And we have. I'm looking at the CC basically. When you're looking for a level 1 team fight, you look at the CC and you look at the straight up burst. If one team has more CC, generally you want to go for the invade, or if you have the burst, then they can do as well. So you've got the crit arrow from Ashe, that's a lot of upfront burst. They haven't really got any CC apart from that, maybe the fear from Nocturne, but it's not very much. And it's very difficult to land, it's not instant, and people really want to use their flashes early on because it'll be up pretty soon, and when those first ganks happen, it'll be up anyway. So those early summoners aren't going to cost them a huge amount. Obviously, it will allow the other lane to be more aggressive during that early game, but it's not as easy. So, they do have the Shadow Dash from Shen, so actually they have the Taunt from Ari as well. We could actually see an invade from Mousesports on to M5. However, M5 are just kings of invades, so they might be waiting for this one, and we'll just have to see what happens early. Ping's already going down into the mid-river, and I think they might be looking to do something here, yeah. I think Vlad's seen them, however.
Yeah, and I think something to note as well is at this level of play, and this is more directed to the lower elo players of you that really want to improve, have a quick look. Pretty much nobody on the server right now has elected their first ability. Look at Ari, she's still contemplating, do I go Charm, do I go Orbital Deception? That's purely because if a team fight 1 does kick off, it's important that she can quickly switch into something like a Charm to help her team pick up the early kills. A lot of the time at lower elo, you're going to see people right from spawn picking whatever they want ability-wise. They get into a team fight, could have picked up a kill, but because they have the wrong ability for that situation, it doesn't work out. So it's something to keep in mind. Either way, as we start off, 1 minute 45, another 8 or so seconds before the blue buff does spawn, and the red buff, of course, for the junglers. We are going to see Nocturne starting off on Wraiths, going towards red, and also the same can be said for Dedrion on Shen. So fairly standard openings here. The golems were taken from Candy Panda and Dax at bot lane, going to start to rejoin bot now, and they're going to be facing off against Genja and Gosu Pepper. A very experienced, well-oiled machine at bot lane. Must be pretty damn terrifying to play against them.
That being said, Candy Panda and Dax are a great bottom lane, so they're definitely going to give these guys a run for their money. Interestingly enough, M5 did go for those wolves and take those off Nocturne, which makes a lot of sense. Nocturne actually started with his Wraiths and went onto his red, and now he's going onto his blue. The wolves will be up fairly soon, so they lose absolutely no time. This goes down basically to how M5 manage their time. They know exactly when the wolves are going to be spawning. Nocturne's going to pick this one up and not really feel the pinch of not having those wolves because they'll be up exactly when he needs them to be. And his bottom lane are in a better position to the point where, okay, Mal's bottom are slightly further ahead in levels, but Ashe has actually hit level 2 and so has Gosu Pepper pretty much at the same time, actually ahead of Dax. So they haven't really lost anything since they're on the purple team, because usually the Mousesports will have the advantage because they have the golems to take early game.
Yeah, we're going to have the 2 AD carries just exchanging blows there at bot lane. Candy Panda slightly coming behind in that race, but does have Soraka. So you have 2 healing supports at bot lane. Sona will be spamming away her W's, the area of preservance even, sorry. And you're going to have Soraka with the Astral Blessing. So it's fairly interesting stuff. You know, the armor buff for the Astral Blessing on top for Soraka is going to keep Candy Panda on Corki fairly tanky for a couple seconds afterwards, and with the Gatling gun as well, he's going to be able to put out a fair amount of damage. But Diamond Prox is lurking around, and he is going to start to come round the backside, so we could have a gank and first blood potentially here. Valkyrie has it popped off from Candy Panda, and the Unspeakable Horror goes on towards Dax, but they're both going to escape with a summoner being burnt in amongst that as well. Dax flashed away back to the tower.
Yeah, Dax was definitely in kill zone right there. Had that fear actually gone off for Nocturne, Ashe could have followed up, and so could Sona. That's a massive amount of damage early game. Sona just has an immense amount of damage this early on, and people really underestimate it, and that's why Sona's so strong at the moment. Meanwhile, at top, actually Darian will be flashing out of there as Dedrion comes in for the potential gank. And interesting, he came from that angle. He could have gone from a different angle, but maybe he thought there might be a Warden River, because often at this high elo, they're already warding very early on into the game, so running straight at him will give him less time to react and actually run away from that gank, which makes sense, and he still got a flash out of it. So it was a successful gank in that sense.
Yep, for sure. Dedrion is going to try and gank, at least put pressure. We're going to have some flashing action at bot lane with Candy Panda going up red. but he is behind that tower, and as I said before, Astral Blessing is going to be able to keep him up for now. Gosu is such an aggressive support. Even behind the tower, he's going to be spamming away as Sona. Hawkshot goes out from Genja, obviously feeling a tiny bit nervous as to whether they're going to get a gank coming down from Shen. Shen is on those way down, actually, through the river, but there is a ward there, which is going to be able to see them in time. So Dedrian is going to be coming down. Even with this ward, they're so far past the halfway point that Shen is still going to be able to push on in here with the taunt. Will he be going towards Gosu Pepper? Gosu Pepper flashes away. Now going to turn onto Genja. Genja taking a lot of damage and the ignite. The first blood goes down from Sona on towards Corki. Could be picking up the double hit kill here, Gosu Pepper, on towards Dax as well. Will get the double kill. Could we be seeing a support triple kill on towards Dedrian? Perhaps not, because Gosu Pepper does not have anywhere near enough mana. But actually will be getting the kill. Shen gets hit off the tower. What in the hell did I just witness?
Well, Gosu Pepper starting off with 3 kills this early into the game. I mean, okay, it's a support, but it's still pretty scary. She's level 5 right now. She's ahead of everyone in bot lane. She's going to have more damage. At level 5, you get 3 points into usually your damage ability, the Himmavala, and that's really going to hurt. And she's going to go back. She's going to be able to pick up a Heart of Gold this early on. 6 minutes of the game is a very early gold per 5, picking up the Fairy Charm and the Ruby Crystal and wards. That's a very happy support. That's more gold than any support witnessed in many years, I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, 3-0 Sona after like 6 minutes. Who would have thought that was going to happen? Either way, here comes Dedrian again, maybe trying to... This is like take 2 of Dedrian, trying to make amends for that previous mishap for his team. I'm not quite sure what happened. It was just a case that Sona was underestimated, I guess, with the amount of damage, and she's going to come back again, but Dedrian is in that ward, in the bush I should say, and there is no ward down. Genja has been taunted, lots of damage from Candy Panda, is going to be able to finish off Genja. So Dedrian making somewhat of an amends from that previous mishap at the bot lane, and Candy Panda managing to pull his way back with a kill. So 3-2 the scoreline, 700 gold in it still in favour of Moscow5 after just 7 minutes. And look, once again, Dedrian is now on his way back towards mid lane. Ignite has gone down, and the charm lands as well from Hemo Plague in the meantime, and that charm definitely picked up the kill at the end, because Vladimir looked to be home and dry. Moma did eat the Hemo Plague, but didn't go down. So Dedrian, once again, is so active and so successful in the jungle for Mousesports.
Mouse are just playing this really well. They know that as soon as it gets to the teamfight stage, then Moscow5 are just going to be ridiculous, because that's where their prime is, going for those 3-man invades, but not even letting them get to that stage. They're just punishing them in lane before they're even getting the chance to mobilize, which is their strength. So it was very clever for Mouse to actually apply the pressure this early on, because there's no real response for M5, because though they're extremely strong, I don't feel their laning phase is equal to a lot of the top teams. It's definitely their team fighting phase, which is up there.
Yep, for sure. Do you think that Shen is going to have enough of an impact here to actually take Mouse and win this game? Or do you think it's going to be a case that, you know, they can definitely bounce back from this, no doubt, but can Diamond Prox have enough impact right now?
Well, he's hit 6 at the moment, and actually, meanwhile, mid, Alex is taking a lot of damage from Moma. It's just massive harass. Shen looking to do something top as well. Maybe stopping Dorian from diving this in case he was trying to, but now that Nocturne's hit 6, he's got a lot of ganking potential, a lot of kill potential, so I think this is the point where it kind of gets to M5's prime. It's like the first 8 minutes, okay, maybe Miles is strong, but right now, where's Shen going? It looked like he was using Stand Unite, or maybe he was emoting, that was weird.
I think he was just standing chilling there. But yeah, Stand Unite, of course, is his ultimate. He's going to be able to shield down onto anybody that he chooses, regardless of where they are on the map. Nobody really is calling for that one right now. Everybody on full health. No potential ganks really kicking off. Nocturne was in mid, but more leeching that XP in mid itself, just absorbing that while Alex was recalling from spawn. And Alex has got the Hextech Revolver. Ari has picked up 2 Doran's Rings and also a Cage's Lucky Pick. So, fairly standard openings overall for both teams. Only 300, 400 gold in it, and that's pretty much just going to be down to First Blood.
Diamond Proc's best chance for a gank right now is bottom, because top isn't a great gank lane. It's got no CC of its own apart from a minor slow. Mid's got no CC of its own, and yep, as I'm talking about it, Nocturne's looking for a gank at bottom, and they're looking to initiate right here.
They are looking to kind of come in, but Diamond Prox is still a fair amount of way away at the moment. He isn't moving down to the bush, of course. Paranoia has a long enough range to land onto both Candy Panda and to Dax, but is it a case that they're waiting for that opportune moment to strike? The Ash Arrow is off cooldown. Sona's Crescendo is off cooldown. If they can land these two together, I said it in Champion Select, the three ultimates combined is pretty much a guaranteed kill, but they're still waiting around there. I think they're just waiting for both players to line up together so that Moscow5 can land the Crescendo. Here it comes, it's going to be on towards Dax and the arrow afterwards. Look how quickly Dax is falling. Nocturne from the side, that's one kill. Will they be able to bring this one back? Shen's going to pop his stand unite, Genja flashing away, and Candy Panda did actually get feared as well. That's going to be able to save Genja from any potential retaliation. So everything that we were calling in the Champion Select happened. You had Nocturne's ulti, the Paranoia, the Ash Arrow, and the Crescendo, one after the other on towards Soraka. She couldn't do anything, was just instantly popped. Shen tried his best to get close at bot lane. In doing so, he managed to save Candy Panda's life, but it was a 1-for-0 exchange. So Moscow5, as we said before, so machine-like.
Yeah, Candy Panda did the right thing though. He was focusing Ash all the way through that team fight when they were focusing down Soraka, and that's exactly what you want to be doing. A lot of unexperienced players think, okay, they're attacking us, they're ganking, we better run away and try and save ourselves. But if you think about it, they only have single target damage. If they're only attacking one person, then they're not going to be hitting you. So you have pretty much free reign to position yourself and try and do damage. He was keeping himself in the middle of the lane, so if he had to run, he could run, or run up the river. Otherwise, he could carry on going and chase after Genja. That's what Shen was trying to do, but as you said, the fear actually blocked him from doing so, and therefore they got away with it. It was just perfect play by M5. But however, Candy Panda played it correctly either way, so despite it not looking like anything happened, and that was maybe a misplay by Candy Panda, it really wasn't. He just played it perfectly. It was nothing he could literally do in that situation.
Oh, definitely. There's nothing he could do because his support just got burst down so fast. It was 2 stuns and Nocturne jumping in afterwards was more than enough to take Soraka down. The Wish was also popped, so it wasn't enough to save herself with the Astral Blessing, of course. And as you say, Candy Panda tried his best, but Genja also flashed away in the bush, so we couldn't actually see him while that vision was gone. So we're going to have Candy Panda trying to exchange with Genja. In the meantime, Dedron will be coming back towards bot lane again in the bush. But I don't think there's going to be any ganks on because the creep wave is just pushing way too much, and there's not too much that Dedron can do from here. So he's going to be moving back towards his golems or potentially wraiths. And in the meantime, Nocturne is coming back from spawns. Let's have a look at some of these items that are being built up. Zeal onto Ash. We saw this on Genja yesterday with Graves. The Ash Arrow has came in. Will the Crescendo be following it? Of course it will. Onto Candy Panda. Genja did hit Dax a couple times there, so his focus was slightly off. Maybe assuming it would be enough damage to pick up the kill and get the second onto Dax. But either way, they do finally finish off Candy Panda at the bot lane, and then harassing Soraka back. In the meantime, you also have Ari on low health. And did Shen use his ultimate? No, he didn't. I was just having a quick check because obviously I was watching at bot lane. But yeah, Dedron is going to go ahead and pick up his Wraith regardless. Going to have a bit of a engage on towards Dragon. 4 players from Moscow5 taking this down very, very quickly. Nothing that Soraka can do without Candy Panda there. And Shen is going to be a tiny bit too slow to get to the action. Ari hasn't even moved from mid because, of course, the health and mana are low. So that is going to be a comfortable Dragon in the end for Moscow5, who take a 2.5k gold advantage after just 13 minutes.
Goosey Pepper's on the rampage right now. That's fairly scary. He's got pretty much all of their kills. 1 kill on Ash. That's ridiculous. So, as far as M5 are ahead right now, it's all on the support. Yes, they've got an assist, and Ash is looking like the support score right now. But they're not completely... Amounts aren't completely out of it. Of course, everyone was posing around or poising around that Drake area and trying to get those kills in bottom lane so they could essentially force that team fight. They got the kill in bottom lane and went immediately to Drake. That's exactly what they wanted to do. And if you look at the area, they have 4 wards, so they have perfect vision all the way around that Drake area for M5 right now. And obviously, they have the pink ward there as well to try and counter ward anything that comes at them. They've got 2 pink wards and actually 2 wards in the bush. That also stops it. Basically, as we were saying yesterday when M5 did it, when they have an oracle, it basically stops them from taking it immediately. That's 6 hits they need to take out that ward. That gives them a lot of time. It's early into the game. That's a lot longer than it is late game. So it makes a lot of sense to do so, just in case they try and clear that one up, especially if you're not against Shyvana, who can just insta-give wards like it's no tomorrow. But at bottom lane, yeah, 4-0 Sona, 2 gold items, 1200 gold to go back with. Really interesting to see what Ghostly Pepper goes back. But a Fed support is not a bad thing, because you get support items earlier, which are extremely pertinent all the way through the game. And the earlier you get it, stronger it is, basically. And Aegis is really nice for that sort of mid-early game.
Yeah, definitely. So let's have a look at top lane. Haven't really gave it a great deal of love as, well, nothing's really gone down. Both top laners on 0-0-0. It's just been a farming frenzy. Yorick has the upper hand. Darian with 6 extra creep score over Prothana has finished off the Mana Moon. And in the meantime, Kennen is going to go for that fairly standard build of the 2 Doran's Blades alongside Hextech Revolver. Here comes Shen. And the ultimate has gone off there. Slicing Maelstrom from Kennen. Shen is coming around the backside, but slightly too late. And Slicing Maelstrom didn't do anywhere near enough damage to take Darian down. In fact, Prothana out of that exchange came out second best, but Dedrion is still lurking in the shadows behind the tower in the bush. Will he be jumping on anytime soon? Doesn't look likely. In fact, he is coming up, but maybe just to absorb the XP more than anything else, while Prothana goes back to spawn. So, at the end of the day, ultimate was popped from Kennen, didn't wield the kill.
Yorick is just really irritating to lane against. There's not very much you can do against it either. Like, Kennen is a good pick, so is Riven, because they're just very solid laners, so is Uther as well. It's very hard to lose the lane as those sorts of characters, but even so, it's Yorick. It's going to be nasty no matter what character you play, and no matter how well you play, because Yorick is just so strong. Inherently, he's just ridiculous. You need ganks to try and even it up, but there's not very much Shen could do this game, because he had to stop Nocturne from making his bottom lane snowball out of control, which made a lot of sense. Again, he had to try and do something mid, but Vlad's very difficult to gank, and he couldn't give top very much love at all. He had to stay bottom to stop it snowballing, and yeah, it was just how the ball rolled, basically.
Some harassment in the mid lane from Moma and Alex Ich, respectively. Both are going down to about half health, but of course Vladimir with his spell vamp is going to be able to pull himself back very quickly. We are going to have an engage. Shen hopping onto Moma with a stand unite. Alex is going to go down here very comfortably in the end, and that is the power of a strong Shen player with his stand unite. Dedrion can be anywhere he pleases on the map, and Alex is going to die for his second consecutive time. He's going to go ahead and pick up the Negatron Cloak alongside Blasting One, so we'd expect to see the Abyssal Scepter whenever he has enough gold. Only 280 at the moment, so still has a fair while to wait. And how much gold does Ari have at the moment? Has 1,450, and she has the Hextech Revolver, Cage's Lucky Pick, 2 Doran's Rings, so maybe going to be a case of picking up a Blasting Wand. Not entirely sure, maybe thinking as well, let's just wait around till they hit 1,600 gold, then get an Abyssal Large Rod. There's a couple of options for her here.
Definitely. So I'm just looking at M5 right now, and a lot of people might be thinking, why aren't they mobilizing? That's where they're strongest, when they're grouping together and going for the team fights and those timing pushes. And we've said it ourselves. But they really can't, because Mouse are stronger right now, because they have the better mid game. They have stronger team fights, because they've got double AP, and if they mobilize, they're definitely going to lose. So they just have to make those timing pushes, but they can't actually mobilize for a team fight, as it were. They can maybe get a pick and then force a team fight, but it's awkward for them right now. They definitely just can't mobilize, push a turret, and then start going into that team fight phase immediately, because they'll lose, and they recognize this. So that's why they can't do it right now. And Mouse have got a very clever composition in that sense, because they know that they'll probably have the early game, and if they play well, then they're going to be at this position that they're at right now, and they're not really that far behind, considering all the kills are right on Sona right now. So they're in a good position. They're arguably ahead at this stage in the game. Basically, M5 just need to wait it out until late game, where they have the better engage, they have the maybe slightly better team fight as well, with Alexic on Vladimir, and then try and mobilize then. But at the moment, they just can't. It's just not viable.
Yep, definitely. Shen is coming down towards bot lane alongside Nocturne as well, so could potentially have a 3v3 fight kicking off fairly soon. You're going to have Dedrion coming through the bush, but he has been spotted by a ward. Now, this is definitely going to work into advantage of Diamond Prox, because now he knows exactly what to expect alongside the AD carry of Genja and Gosu Pepper. But having said that, the try of players at bot lane for Mouse are all going to pull back, one of which of course is Shen's going to go ahead and take his red, so not too much is going to happen there. In the meantime, Yorick and also Vladimir coming down towards the Drake, so you have to assume it's going to spawn very, very shortly. Drake or slain, well, it doesn't matter. I was about to have a quick look on the chat, but there you go, it has just respawned. So there you go, Moscow5 once again are right on the ball in terms of timing. very quickly, decimating Drake. But here comes Mouse. Are they going to go ahead and engage this one? Prothana's taking a lot of damage. Here it comes, slicing Maelstrom. Shen will pick up the Drake. Nocturne onto Kennen, and now Moma is getting burst down very quickly from the remainder of Moscow5. Crescendo's gone out in the meantime from Gosu Pepper. Here comes Alex, will pick up the double kill onto Soraka. Didn't have the greatest of beginnings, but he is maybe going to have a happy ending. Candy Panda taking all kinds of damage from Ashe, but actually will pick up the kill, and Sona goes unstoppable. 5-0-4. Sona's going to carry this no problems. What the hell?
It's funny, my last point was they can't mobilize for a team fight unless they get a pick, and they got a pick at the very start of the fight, because Kennen completely separated himself from his team and got insta-gibbed, and it was a 4 versus 5 before he even managed to get his ultimate off. He used it, and it just like hit 2 people and then died. And then they got a pick 4 versus 5, of course they're going to win. So, it was very odd. It was a very odd play from Profana. Yes, he wanted to get his ultimate off, but there was just too much single target damage, basically, for him really to survive through. He didn't have a Zoni's Hourglass, he can't pin himself down, and already, yeah, he's got the Chain Vest, so he's building towards it and he'd recognise what he needs to do. But even so, that's just put M5 in a position where they can mobilise, and that's just shot themselves in the foot. They've just allowed M5 to get to the point where they're strongest, and that's not a good thing.
Definitely. So 9-5 to Moscow5. 31.3k gold to 26.5 after about 21 minutes is a fair chunk of difference in Moscow5's favour. Lots of items are being built up. Glacial Shroud on Yorick. Phantom Dancer alongside a BF Sword for Ashe. Aegis for the Legion has been finished off alongside a Philosopher's Stone. Gosu Pepper could be caught out of position here. Oh my god, getting completely pincered, and that will be the shutdown on the support. Gosu Pepper's first death comes about after 21 minutes. That was a case of just trying to ward and maybe clear some ward coverage as well, and unfortunately wrong place at the wrong time from Sona's perspective.
Yeah, and funny enough, Sona's supported in every single one of the team kills, and that's a perfect score for the support. Maybe not having all the kills, but yeah, that's not a perfect score, but the rest of it is really nice. Actually, just having a Fed support also means you can have great warding coverage. You can see a full stack from Sona right now. You also have the Aegis of the Legion, which is extremely strong in mid-game, which is now hit into. It's nice for the entire team in general. So in that sense, having an early Aegis, having early support items are really, really nice. And they are really, really strong. So at the moment, M5, I would say, are just ahead of Mouse. But if they manage to get the AP carries in a good position where they get their full ultimates off and their full burst out, then they should win. But at the last team fight, they died first basically, and they just got completely picked before getting any of that burst potential off at all.
Yeah, sure. Also, Prothana got caught out and did a lot of took a lot of damage. Here we go, though, on the thought for a second, because Moma is coming around from the backside. General ultimate on towards Prothana as well. Will take down Darian. He used his ulti, so he's going to be resurrecting very briefly, trying his best to take down Foxfire Ari. Don't think he's going to be able to do anything. No, he won't. Doing a lot of damage, but unfortunately not finishing off the kill. So that is going to be 2 kills since that dragon fight that we saw previously, both going into the hands of Mousesports. But as you were saying, just going back to the point you were making before, Kennen took a lot of damage early on in that fight, and his ultimate was pretty much a desperation move. He's like, I'm going to die, I just need to do as much damage as I can before I ultimately go down. But as he said, he got separated from the pack. Then you had Ari jumping through towards blue with Spirit Rush, just trying to escape, and Sona pulled off a magnificent crescendo, blocking off the rest of Mouse. They couldn't get close to Ari to help her out. So again, Gosu Pepper is having a phenomenal game. He said before, probably not a perfect score overall for a support, but I reckon it's pretty much perfect for him. Prothana's going to eat a Hemo Plague, but nah, it's not going to bother him too much. He's going to just go ahead and recall. I think Gosu Pepper's going to be quite happy, is what I'm saying, personally. The rest of his team, maybe not quite as much.
Yeah, but yeah, people really underestimate support items though, because if you have an Aegis and you have like Shirelias, and then you have like a Iron Solari really early on into the game, that's more than you think, and people really underestimate the supports, because it's like, oh, it's so boring to play, and most people never actually play supports themselves. They just play it because they have to, their last pick in Champion Select. But they're really, really strong, and people just underestimate them, and when like Morello throws out the nerf bat, people are like complaining and whining, but they kind of need it because supports are really strong. They have game-turning ultimate. Like Sona's ultimate, that's game-turning, so is Janna's. And Soraka just makes a massive difference with that wish in the lanes. It's pretty significant, and players just need to remember that, and it looks like M5 What, are they mobilizing for Drake? Can't be up this soon, I don't think. They might be trying to get something onto Candy Panda. 2 players at bottom, but Shen also around that area.
Yeah, Drake was slain at 19 minutes 25, so that gives you an indication of when it is going to feature once again, fairly shortly, within the next minute or two. So let's have a look at how Moscow5 is starting to push towards the mid lane. We've got Vladimir, Yorick and Nocturne moving down now towards the red buff of Mouse. In the meantime, the bot lane is going to hold fast there. Interestingly enough, the only lane that has dropped from Moscow5 is the bot lane, and they have picked up 3 themselves, 2 in mid, 1 at top, which is going to give them a nice bit of map control. As you can see right now, they can push through that jungle relatively uncontested without too many problems. Vladimir is going to be taking out raids. Just seems to me, Pulse, that Moscow5 are waiting out for Drake. They're just going to harass, take the jungle. When Drake spawns, go ahead and try and take that one as well, and then pull themselves back.
Yeah, they're just kind of mobilizing that around that area, and they got bottom tower, so that's also going to help them out because there's nowhere really for Mouse to run. They're just trying to push in on them and be really aggressive, and then as soon as Drake spawns, turn around, take it, and turn around again and potentially get a pick. And there we go, going straight for Drake as soon as it spawns. And look at this, all the players just turned around at the exact same time, synchronized. It's weird to watch, it really is. It's nice, but weird.
Definitely, Drake's came up. Surprise, surprise, Moscow5 are right there to take it down again. Drake had a life of about 3 seconds there. Not a happy camper, to say the least. But here comes Moscow5 from this side. Need to be careful here, Mouse. If they get caught, they are going to go down very, very quickly from the Ash, Arrow, and Paranoia alongside Crescendo. And that's going to be reflected in how quickly they got out of dodge. Gedron's going to be going to blue. Moscow5 can almost sense that's going to be the case. Here they come round the side. Pink ward has been planted, will instantly go down from Moscow5, and now they are going to go ahead and steal that blue. So this is what we were saying yesterday as well, Paul. Moscow5 are the masters at just pushing home an advantage. They are going to completely choke you. They're going to make it as claustrophobic, as uncomfortable as physically possible. Say goodbye to your jungle, say goodbye to your lanes, because they're going to consistently push you all day long, and they're never going to let up.
Yeah, it's really nasty to play against, and now they've got like a 6k advantage, pretty comfortable, and they can definitely win these team fights. So we're just looking for perfect plays right now from Mouse, and just trying to get the burst from the AP carries out. Every single team fight, they've just been shut down immediately by M5. Right now, the best chance is probably that Baron fight, if anything's going to happen. That sort of close, claustrophobic environment where they can get all those AoE ultimates out, and then maybe have Shen split push as well with that global ultimate. But then again, so can Nocturne, and you have great initiates, so yeah, in that sense, M5 have a great initiation team, and that's what they need. That's their playstyle. Good mobility, and then when they see someone out of position and they can initiate on them, there it is. Just Ash Arrow, down procs coming in with the ultimate, and then they're all over them.
Definitely. I apologize, guys. I'm having like a sneezing fit at the moment. I don't think I suffer from hay fever, but it feels like I do. I keep needing to sneeze halfway through words. But either way, let's just carry on regardless. If I need to have another sneezing fit, I'll just pass it over to you, Paul, if you're okay with that. Yeah, so again, we were saying this before, Moscow5, very difficult to kind of budge out of the advantageous role that they're currently in. You are seeing the goal difference is escalating out of control. It's about 6k at the moment after 28 minutes, but Moscow5 have recently just taken down a plethora of turrets, taken out the jungle as well from the opposite team, and they are trying to push this one home. The item build is fairly stacked in Moscow5's favour as well. You've got a Deathfire Grasp and a Abyssal Scepter alongside a Hextech Revolver on Vladimir, so his burst potential is crazy. For the AD carry, he's got an Infinity Edge alongside a Phantom Dancer, and also 1,000 gold in the back pocket of Genja as it stands. And if you compare that to Corki, who has just an Infinity Edge, a Phage, and a Sheen, he is going for the Trinity Force, but he only has 300 gold to spend. So he's a tiny bit behind Ash as it stands. And positioning-wise, Moscow5 are way ahead. They have an Oracles on Diamond Proc, so they know that Baron is entirely unwarded. There is no vision right now for Mouse. Fair enough, Shen is out of position, but he does have his ulti, so it's not the end of the world. But look how quickly Baron is going down. It's actually going to be finished off by the time anyone gets close there. Nocturne is going to take down Baron, then jump on towards Moma, who's going to be forced to pop off the Spirit Rush. Here comes Shen's ulti in the meantime, managing to do enough to save Moma. I think Moma probably would have been safe anyway with the maneuverability, but better safe than sorry, and it put Shen in prime position in the middle of his team. Here comes the Ash Arrow, lands onto Soraka, should be going down very quickly. Crescendo any second now goes in. Look at the damage from Moscow5. Kennan's forced to pop his hourglass just to survive through the heat of battle. And he is going to be able to push himself back. Dax, in the meantime, goes down courtesy of Ash. Now going to be looking to pick up the kill on towards Moma. Flash in from Genja onto Moma. Consistent slows. Is it going to be enough damage? And Sona, surprise, surprise, is going to finish off Ari. Going back onto Candy Panda, who unfortunately was a bit too far away from his towers, and that should be the first inhib tower going down here from Moscow5 and the inhib itself. So we were talking before about Moscow5 is so good at just pushing home an advantage. Surprise, surprise, again they've done just that.
It was just a perfect timing push onto Baron, great call, and then they just punished them so hard. Baron, and then there's the pick, trying to get something on Ari. Got another initiate from Genja, goes straight for that inhibitor turret, then the inhibitor, then 2 Nexus turret, and then Nexus. Punished. That's how they work.
Absolutely. As soon as that Baron was taken, there was only one way this game was going to go, and that was a quick Moscow5 victory. It's exactly what they've done. It's a best of 3, ladies and gents. That was game number 1. If you have just joined us, this is the Elite of Europe Champion Base Cup being casted from Chaos TV, myself, Matters, and Pulse. If you want to go ahead and win yourself some nice goodies later on and throughout the day, go ahead to chaostv.eu/prize draw. You can read on there how you put yourself in contention to win some goodies. You can also go ahead and follow Champion Base on Facebook. It's facebook.com/championbase.net. We are giving some CSGO beta keys away on there throughout the day as well. So give it some love, give it some support, because on top of everything else, you'll be winning yourself some goodies. You'll be able to enter some raffles, and also these championships are only made possible by the love and support of you guys. So please go ahead there and give it a like. Either way, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll wait for the invite for game number 2, and when you rejoin us, we'll be live for game 2 between Moscow5 and Mousesports. See you soon.